Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. I'm not gay. And one of the ways they provoke me is they use various technologies to change my voice to make it so I sound gay, knowing that I naturally sound like who I am, the Son of God, and they try to make it so I sound gay. Think about that for a second. Whites, Jews, and LGBT supremacists, white supremacists, Jewish supremacists, and LGBT supremacists team up with token minorities to provoke me for doing what's right. So I don't feel sorry for Donald Trump. I don't feel sorry for the United States of America. First of all, people are supposed to do what is precisely right, regardless if they're religious or not. They should scramble to figure out what that is. Shouldn't be cheating the most righteous person that ever lived out of his right to lead. But you people provoke me. And you create straw men. That's why I put it on the screen. You create straw men to try to attack my arguments, and you provoke me. You owe me everything. Considerably over $1 billion for years and years of harassment. Years and years of cheating and abuse and crippling. Years and years of it. Where countless organizations are involved, and their collective worth is in the trillions easy. There is no excuse for what they've done. So, in regards to Cole Allen, it reminds me of my core book. Depending on how you order the book, because it's like 4 sections of it, and I never kind of decided which section I want to put first because both of them are a great way to start the book. So I think at one point I did actually decide what it was, and I changed my mind or something, but that's not so important. One way to do it is point 8 on page 2. I'm sure you can find it one way or another. And in that section, probably the most controversial section of the whole book, it says that, first and foremost, that killing outside the divine order is not going to get you to heaven. Again, it's not going to get you to heaven. I'm not ordering anybody in my book to kill anybody. But I do say that they have my permission, okay? That therefore it's not going to be held against them if, in a reasonable manner, they kill rich people or oppressors because of how I have been treated, because of how the poor have been treated, because of them hoarding money while the poor are massacred. That is universally morally precise. And there's no shortage of law enforcement types and other types of people who are watching me around the clock, and they present no viable counterargument. So think about that. They talk to me all the time, but they present no viable counterargument for that. And for them to turn around and just sit there and provoke me and try to get me to say things a certain way and take me out of context, and then fume and poison me, and in the name of white supremacy, Jewish supremacy, LGBT, and their churches, mosques, and synagogues, and all their other philosophies, it goes without saying that God despises them for that, and that they are so wrong. No one has ever been more wrong in history. And the people are doing this to me. And again, for at least the 100th time, must be the 1000th time by now, I challenge them to a debate. I challenge them to a debate, discussion, talk. They're not going to do that because they'd rather poison me, provoke me, fume me, sexually harass me, insult God and I around the clock every single day. I have 23 witnesses on record, and they found various covert ways of doing it. They are immature frat scum, law enforcement trash, military-industrial complex filth, scoundrels in the military. They have no care for God whatsoever. They just do it every day. I'm getting older, getting less healthy. If they ever, quote-unquote, do the right thing, you can bet your bottom dollar it'll be at a time when they can feel that they can feign being superior to me. That is despicable. And I can't chastise their spirits enough. I want nothing to do with the American spirit. What you people are doing is extremely cowardly. Any spirit that accepts persecuting Christ with the countless people in that spirit persecuting is complete garbage. Unbelievably sickening. Unbelievable. You people ought to be very ashamed of yourself. Your family should be very ashamed of you people. Very ashamed. God wants nothing to do with you. Your prayers are extremely detestable. So I'm going to quote Cole Allen in this video. Again, I'm not a Cole Allen fan. Okay, I don't know the person. but I'm going to respond to what he said because he was used to kind of try to demonize me. He's somebody who is an educated person. He received awards, and I talk countless about how my father received humanitarian awards, so there's parallels there. And they're using it to try to stigmatize me. And this isn't the first time they did something like this where it points right to me. He says that, quote unquote, I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me, and I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. Now let's stop for a second here. Is he right about all that except for what he's willing to permit? That's a little more confusing, but everything else, yeah. Okay, if you are part of a group and you don't separate yourself from that group by obeying God through me, or opposing that group, which doesn't put you in good standing with God unless you are obeying God through me, then you are guilty of what that group is doing. If you don't obey God through me, you're guilty of being slack in your work, because I am the solution, the soul you shun. The one, the most righteous person doing the right thing, the one, the Alpha. The one way to truly absolve yourself of guilt. You need your coming to Jesus moment. Not playing dumb with the white oppressors, fairy, hippie, LGBT nonsense, and the fake miracles that I've proven definitively beyond a reasonable doubt with objective facts that the miracles are figurative. And no rational person will look at my argument and compare it to theirs and think that I'm magically wrong. No way, no how. And again, they changed the sound of my voice to provoke me, trying to make it so I sound gay, whitewashed, like a white guy giving a PowerPoint presentation. They use all kinds of weirdo, filters and stuff to mess up my videos. AI, they're weirdos. They're sick frat people. They're sick kind of Jewish nerds. Some of these guys, they're gay guys. You know the types, these corporate types, these law enforcement, the military types, PSYOP unit types, weirdos. Rich kind of Epstein types with that's Bezos and Epstein, faces. Musk, making some weird faces while people suffer, hoarding money. Abusing them, making people desperate with an economy that kills and enslaves, no care for anybody whatsoever, just greedy, narcissistic, just trashy people. They did a study, these psychologists, and they found that 1 in 5 CEOs are psychopaths. And I've cited this many times. Many are narcissists, and many are sociopaths as well. This massive, critical mass of psychos controlling the government, running psyops on me. Can you imagine the sick son of a bitch who would be like, I don't believe him about that. I think it's all in his head. You think psychopaths don't act like psychopaths? What are you, fucking retarded? Don't you know the history of the psychological operations in this country and abroad? What, do you think they made up the Phoenix program? You think COINTELPRO is a conspiracy theory? You think it happened in the Stone Age or something? I was interrupted and several things factor in. 1, a lesbian nurse friend of my father's passed away. 2, my father subtly pointed out that, he was a little bit alarmed by my speech, and that doesn't change what I have to do here. 3, as I kind of took a moment, I saw that King Charles had given a speech at Congress, and I saw some clips of him. I'm going to watch it in a moment here. And so I decided to kind of finish this video right now before I get a few more, and so my voice probably sounds different. And so let me just finish this here. So the person who did the shooting, which again I did not, I've been telling people for years that they should rally for my war on poverty plan. A lot of people are trying to kind of interfere with me doing that. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, that know how I feel. And so, I've been saying that the answer is peaceful organizations here, and I'm willing to be on camera all the time if they give me my rightful place or some significant position of power, where I'm not going to follow anybody else, mind you, no matter what. Then I'm willing to be on camera all the time, except for when I'm in the shower, what have you. If I'm married, in the bedroom, so they know that I live a humble life, and that, there'll be lots of citizen oversight, and $1 billion plus for oversight just for my plans, my war on poverty plan, what have you. I have another plan I want to talk about in another video because I'm running out of time in this video. which is $15 billion a year to process rape kits, to build courthouses, various criminal justice staff, law enforcement, judges, what have you. On top of the $10 billion a year, I want for to hire law enforcement officers specifically, whatever equipment they need within reason. Okay. Some of these calls are pretty hard here, and I know that there's a lot of people in my family who don't want me to say the things that I'm saying, even though they're morally precise, because they alarm people, and people say, whoa, this guy said that, and quote unquote everybody knows not to say that, and so on and so forth, because I have to tell the truth here, no matter what. The parable of the 10 means the parable of a bag of gold. God gave me a position of importance. God gave all of us life, and we should do the right thing no matter what, even if it kills us, our families, the whole planet, what have you. Okay, and I'm not some closed-minded lunatic or something. I'm willing to discuss my ideas. I make sure they're morally precise. As part of my religion is to insist that people discuss these things with me publicly and openly, what have you. And if something needs to be discussed privately, okay. But I walk in the light of truth so that everyone can see that I'm doing God's work. And God, first and foremost, knows that I do it that way because I make sure that they all know that I'm right. So he said something that was reminiscent of things I say in my videos. He said, turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. Turning the other cheek, turn the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. He is absolutely right about that. Where he's wrong has to do with the vagueness of the statements. Okay? So if somebody is trying to kill me, I'm not going to turn the other cheek. Okay? If somebody is trying to sexually, assault me, I'm not going to turn the other cheek. So some people get confused about these things. I don't want people to be confused about these things at all. My concern is not to keep the oppressor safe. I'm not blinded by resentment for the oppressor. I wrote a book. I took a lot of time to think about it. I've been saying these things for years. Lots of people have seen and heard my arguments. They have no counter-argument. I'm not in my own little world here. I'm not some self-righteous lunatic. I'm someone who went the distance to make sure that I'm right, looking at peer-reviewed sources, talking to religious people, you name it. Atheists, everyone you can think of, just putting it out there. TikTok, YouTube, thousands of videos. That's who I am. Mr. Thousands of videos. What do you think? Not some random rant on Facebook or something before doing some crazy shooting, but Mr. Talk to it with everybody. So my response goes like this. The essence of God's rules in regards to turning the other cheek is one must be in the divine order and be morally precise with all their being. Morally precise. Life is not about merely providing food for one's family, even though it is important to do so. If one can, while putting God first. It's important to do so if one can, want to put God first. Life is about masterfully doing what is exactly right. Right? Matthew 6. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. You have to starve to death. I'm going to do God's will. That's my concern. If everyone is confused about what's going on, I'm going to keep going forward. Life is about masterfully doing what is exactly right. One must scramble to find a moral and peaceful way to resolve a situation first, right? They first must scramble to find a moral and peaceful way, which is what I do. There's no reason for me to be violent. I don't see any reason I should be violent. So then I'm scrambling to find a moral and peaceful way, even though the government is using violence against me. They're zapping my brain, they're fuming me, they're poisoning me. Those are forms of violence. I am heartbroken for the immigrants and the poor, all the wars going on in Ukraine, the suffering in Nigeria, Sudan, Palestine, Iran, all over the world. There's so many war zones all the time, it's hard to keep track of them. I am heartbroken that they're not listening to me, and instead they choose to kill each other, striking each other with wicked fists, like it says in Isaiah, I believe it's chapter 58. But I refuse to condemn violence against the rich as long as they massacre the poor. Now, I think that people should consider, hey, what is this rich person or that rich person doing, right? But I cannot in good conscience say that you cannot strike your oppressor. I'm not going to do that because it's not right. They are massacring you with their money. Women are being raped. People are being hurt because they refuse to govern effectively. And that's a form of waging warfare, especially on the most vulnerable individuals. Imagine disabled people, people who are mentally ill, who are lost, and they're looking for society to help them, and instead, you people trample them. And every day people are raped and killed. And there's no words for how serious that is. They need to handle their business. No more delay. There never should have been any hesitation at all. I am the master of conveying God's orders, not the people who wrote the Bible. You shouldn't be following the churches, the script, or some cult. You should be following me. I'm sad right now, kind of tears in my eyes. Doesn't change the fact that I'm right and I'm the King of Kings. No one has any right to even begin to try to overrule me. And I'm not saying this because of some kind of control freak mentality. I'm not a control freak. I'm saying it because it's right. That's the right thing to do. And they've had years and years to come up with some counter argument. They have none. Stop massacring the poor, and I'll gladly give the order at that time for people not to attack the rich. But you are waging war against them. Psychological warfare, chemical warfare, biological warfare, using food against them. You're fuming them to some degree, turning them against each other. What you're doing is very, very wrong. I have no intention to be violent myself and I demand that the rich treat people fairly so that people are not inspired to attack them while law enforcement is put in harm's way. Let me be very clear about this. They are the ones putting law enforcement in harm's way. As long as you act like lunatics and massacre the poor, what can someone say? Even if everyone starts, singing church propaganda or some kind of government propaganda, the people will see through that and they'll still want revenge. You are the ones putting law enforcement in harm's way, not me. And I'd love to debate you about that anytime. The ideas I convey and not the wording is what matters. Okay, there's no coded message. I say that because sometimes people try to interfere, and who knows what they try to do in terms of changing the words so they can try to take my credit to the best of their ability or something. As strange as that is, as stupid of a problem as that is, it's still a problem. Very strange. I urge everyone to obey God through me and to separate themselves from guilt. They must separate themselves from guilt by complicity. They need to transcend in reality and overcome in reality. I'm going to say this because I think that someone has to say, because I don't think anyone is going to do a good job of sticking up for this person. I don't agree with what Cole Allen did. I don't entirely disagree, because the rich are massacring people, and the president has the power to declare a state of emergency, to end homelessness, and do all kinds of stuff to save lives, to try to reverse the big, beautiful bill. It's a big, ugly bill. It's causing all kinds of problems. He has the power to do things. I'm not a political person. These are just clear-cut social issues. Okay? You are massacring the poor. In L.A., where he's from like Southern California, somewhere, Torrance, if I'm not mistaken. So in Southern California, they were hit very hard by these federal policies and by the failure of the left as well. Right? The right wing, the left wing, the center, they've all failed. The existing social order is insufficient. It has failed. I'm hoping that Donald Trump has a change of heart, that he works with me, that people stop trying to tell me what to do. When it comes to this video, I'm out of time, so I'm going to end it there. I'll make a part 2 soon. Stay tuned.